Tonight we're talking about the struggles of high earners. And I think that this is so important because I want to make sure that we understand some key things tonight for everyone, no matter if you're making $30,000 a year or $300,000 a year. So come on in. We're going to get started soon here. And we're talking about the struggles of high earners. So let's give folks another 60 seconds or so to hop on, and then we'll get into it, right? What that looks like. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to give you guys some gems that I don't think a lot of people are ready for. So welcome to Money Monday. Hey, Candy, thanks for joining. We're going to give folks a few minutes to hop on, and then we'll get started. I hope this week has started off well. This week has started off good for me. So I hope you guys are in the same space with just a marvelous Monday, right? It's a lot of things going on. Labor Day is next week. So I know a lot of folks are looking forward to this long weekend, and so am I. But let's get right into it. So as I said earlier, tonight's topic for Money Monday is the struggles of high earners, okay? And so first, let's make sure we're on the same page and talk about what is a high earner. A high earner is anyone that's making at least $250,000 to $500,000 a year, right? They call them Henrys a lot of times. High earners, not rich yet. And basically what a Henry means is someone that has a high discretionary income and a strong chance of being wealthy in the future, right? The Henrys were coined back in 2003 in a Fortune magazine article, and it highlighted something that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, right? And that's the assumption that once you start making good money, more money equals more money, and that's not always true. I know, at least for me at least, and a lot of people, we have this notion that, if I can just get to this amount, if I can just make this amount of money, if I could just hit $100,000 a year, my life will be so much easier. And I'm going to go through some of the struggles that these high income earners are struggling with, right? They're making $250 and up a year, but they are still struggling with some money issues. More money does not always equal more money. So let's talk about it. And we've kind of been talking about this over the last few weeks. The first thing that they struggle with is lifestyle creep. So we talked about lifestyle creep a few weeks ago, how the more money you make, you upgrade your lifestyle. So, you're participating in more luxury activities. You have a luxury car. You may have a really nice home. You're traveling better. You're dressing better, right? And so that all leads to lifestyle creep, where your lifestyle is increasing just as fast as your income. And that's one of the struggles of high income earners as well. That lifestyle creep is coming in, that lifestyle inflation, and it really gets out of hand to the point where they find themselves living paycheck to paycheck. The second struggle that they struggle with is debt management. So Bankrate released some statistics back in September 2023, and they said 3 out of 4 people making over $100,000 a year have been in credit card debt for at least 1 year. So they are charging more. Hey, Natalie, welcome to Money Monday. They're charging more. And then when you think about student loans, a lot of times high income earners have high student loans. So think lawyers, doctors, people in those type of career fields. Then you talk about the mortgages that go with those nice houses, the car notes or the lease notes that go with those nice cars, and they're struggling with debt management, okay? 49% of working people making over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck, and that came from that same Bankrate article last year. So that's alarming when you think about $100,000 is the benchmark. It was the pinnacle. It was the goalpost. And now almost 50% of those people are still living paycheck to paycheck. So just because they have more money, that doesn't mean that they're immune to struggle. They're struggling, okay? The third thing that they struggle with is tax management. So we know that earned income is taxed at a higher rate than investment income, right? And so that can be very complex for people who are high earners. They're making a lot of money and they have a very high tax bill, right? Especially think about people who maybe don't have kids, or maybe they don't own a home, or maybe they live in cities like New York or Los Angeles where the cost of living is very high. And then they may owe taxes at the end of the year because they weren't having enough taxes withheld. Let me give you some numbers. So someone earning $100,000 a year is going to pay about $22,000 in taxes. And we're only talking about federal taxes. So if you're in California, where we know the tax rate is ridiculous, the state tax rate is very high, that's going to be more of your income that you're paying to Uncle Sam. If you make $250,000 a year, we're talking about $70,000 a year in taxes. So you are paying someone's income, their yearly income in taxes. $500,000, you're paying $163,000 in taxes. That's a lot of money. And if you don't know what you're doing, if you haven't talked to somebody, if you don't know what your tax rate is, maybe you're new to that tax bracket, that can be a big struggle for you, because trust me when I say Uncle Sam wants his money, okay? Number 4 is investment decisions. So typically when you're a high earner, you have more disposable income, but that can lead to confusion on when and how to invest, right? You can also focus on the wrong type of investments, which makes your investment strategy more risky, and you're not diversifying properly. I don't know if you guys remember, but a few years ago, not a few years ago, maybe about 20 years ago, financial advisors started getting a bad rap because a lot of them were taking your money and they were making multiple trades in a day, in a week, and earning commissions off that money. And so that may be something that high income earners struggle with that fear of not getting ripped off as well. So definitely those investment decisions. Number 5 is retirement planning. So they're not saving enough. They're not planning well. They're underestimating how much they're going to need in retirement. They're not contributing to their retirement early enough, right? So they're maybe waiting till later in their life to really take retirement seriously, which can cost you big bucks. And then failing to take full advantage of retirement accounts. So your 401k, your 403b, your thrift savings account, you can contribute up to so much a year into those accounts. This year is $23,000. You can contribute up to $7,000 in a Roth IRA. And so if you are a high income earner and you're not taking advantage of those tax savings, that can be a huge struggle for you. And you can be they set themselves up for failure later because they're not adequately prepared. Okay. Number 6 is issues balancing saving and spending. So splurging versus saving. I'll get it back. I'll make more money. I have a lot of money coming in. Let me enjoy the fruits of my labor. That is something that they struggle with, right? Now, if you're listening and you're paying attention, you probably notice a trend. Almost everything that I've named are things that lower income earners or people making $100,000 a year or $70,000 a year struggle with as well. More money equals more problems. And so we often think that, oh, if I just make enough, like I said, right? If I could just get to the 100, if I could just get to the 80, if I could just get to 250 or whatever it is, that I'll be happy or I'll be able to do this and I'll be able to do that. But it also comes with struggles. Okay. So let's look at number 7, financial literacy. Lack of knowledge leads to poor investments. You're not managing your money well, taking a lot of unnecessary risks, which we've already talked about. That's struggles that high income earners have as well. We oftentimes attribute high income to 2 things. The first thing is that somebody is a good person, and we know that's not true. The second thing is that they're wise with money, and that's not true either. And I hate to give this example, but think about, you remember in the 80s, how the crack game messed up our communities, and you had all of these people making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. A lot of these people were touching millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, amounts of money that most people will probably never see in their lifetime. And if you talk to some of those people today, they don't have the money. It's not there, it's gone. They can't tell you what they spent the money on. They don't have a backup plan, and it's the same thing. Legally, illegally, it doesn't matter. High income earners are struggling with financial literacy, and that's a big deal. Number 8 is the pressure to keep up with the Joneses, right? So a lot of times people want to look the part, they want to drive the part, they want to dress the part, and they know that you're treated well when people think you have money. And I know that to be true as well. I can't tell you how good of service I got when I had my BMW versus having my Volkswagen. It's just different, right? But keeping up with the Joneses is something that the high income earners struggle with. And they can be city based as well. So like if you live in a city like Atlanta or LA where you have to keep up this image, you have to look the part. And so if you're making a lot of money, you can struggle with that. And then don't forget about the black tax, right? We all know every family has a Terry from Soul Food where the whole family goes to her for money. Her sister's husband is in trouble and they think that she's supposed to bail him out and she's taking care of everybody in the family. That's something else that high income earners struggle with as well, okay? 9 is thinking about insurance. So when you make more, you need to be insured more, right? Replacing your spouse's income is something that you need to think about, especially if your spouse is contributing to that high income. And that's something that they're struggling with as well. Think about healthcare costs, right? You're a celebrity hairstylist, you're making $1 million a year, and you think like, oh, if something happens to me, I can just pay for it out of pocket. I don't need health insurance. And then you get in an accident and they give you a $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 bill to airlift you to the hospital, right? And that's on top of everything else. So they really struggle with insurance needs and making sure they have the right coverage. And then 10 is the pressure to give back. So a lot of times when people make a lot of money, people tend to put a lot of pressure on them to give back, to give money. If you guys remember the North Carolina lottery winner, she won like $188 million, and a local church sued her because they said that she had told them she was going to give them $10 million, and they actually won on a gift, right? And so that pressure to give back is something high income earners struggle with as well. So like I said, I think we all think that more money is the answer, and more money a lot of times is not the answer. Just because you're making more doesn't mean you're going to be immune to problems. There's no magic number that's going to make you happy. And in our minds, we think that, right? Like, oh, I'll be happy when, and if I can get to X, Y, and Z, then I'll be happy. I'll be satisfied. There is no amount of money in the world that's going to make you happy and make you wise when it comes to your money, or make you immune to problems and immune to struggles. High income earners are struggling just like everybody else. And that's why you need a plan. You need a blueprint. You need a way to help you manage your money. You need a system that you're following consistency. High income earners a lot of times are stressed at work. And so they're stressed with work, they're stressed with money. And so again, more money is not the answer. So I just want to put this into perspective. I know we've been talking a lot about forecasting and planning in the upcoming year. We've been talking a lot about budget busters and lifestyle creep and so on and so forth. But I wanted to frame this in a way that helps you understand that more money is not going to make you immune, right? I've said it about 10 times. I'm going to keep saying it. High income earners are still struggling with things that you would never think that they would be struggling with. I would have never thought that somebody making $100,000 a year would be struggling with living paycheck to paycheck, but it happens, right? And so it's not the number, it's the person, and it's the discipline, and it's the action that you take. Okay? So I hope this gave you some food for thought. Everybody need help, and everybody is kind of struggling with some part of their money. So just keep that in mind as you're scrolling on social media, as you're watching people, open $1 million gifts and get cars and stuff from their significant others. Put it all into perspective, because just because they are making that money and they have a high income does not mean that they are immune to struggle, immune to money issues, immune to money stress. Okay? I love you guys. Thanks for watching as always. I will see you next Monday. Have a good one. Bye-bye.